Hey guys, it's Kelly at Garden Discovery, and I have a confession to make. I'm an instant gratification gardener. That's right, I love to go buy plants so I can have instant gratification with the color and the texture in the garden. But there's sometimes when I can't do that and I can't spend the money. I want to use the budget for something else. And one of the ways that I can do that is by supplementing plants that I already have in the garden in different places by dividing or propagating. In this case, with this Shasta daisy, there's several plants that I grew from seed in this nursery container that I can separate. So I've went ahead and got it really wet, the soil really wet, so hopefully it will make dividing it easier. But I have this problem because, as you've seen likely from previous videos, I did have a lot of color in the spiral garden here with the cornflowers and poppies and whatnot. And now they're starting to fade, as they do because they're annuals. And I've had to pull a lot. I have some coming in new, but not a lot. And I'm used to that color. I like the color pops. I like a lot of green. So I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and divide this Shasta daisy and plant it in different places along. The Shastas get pretty big. This variety gets pretty tall and will provide a lot of flowers for years to come. So I'm going to be taking this Shasta daisy. There's several plants in the one, and so I'm going to go ahead and dig out the soil around it. I've gotten it really wet, and so hopefully it'll be easy. May not be, might be a little bit of a struggle, but sometimes it is. And so I'm going to turn it on its side, and I gently loosen the soil around the side of the pot. And you can see that it's vigorously growing because it has the roots coming out of the bottom. So that's good news. And it gives you an idea of how deep those roots do go with the Shasta daisy. So it's always a good idea to take a look at the root system underneath the pot before you take it out. That way it gives you some kind of gauge on what you're looking at as far as planting depth and what you need. So I'm just going to go ahead and water it a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and use the garden trowel and just section it. I've got the first one out, and you can see it's got some pretty good roots on that. And I'm just going to set it in the water for right now to keep those roots hydrated between now and when I plant them. I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest out and separate this way. And you can see, look at the roots on that. It was so needing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and work this soil around the roots and try and divide them. Because I should have another at least 3 more plants out of this. And you can gently just keep adding water to loosen the soil and try and save as much of the root system as you can. And it's okay to go ahead and separate the roots at the bottom. And you don't need all of this roots that may be pot bound. So you can tear those off. And again, this is just another way that you can take what you already have and multiply it. And hopefully the deer don't eat it because they've been at them. They like them. So if you have deer in your area, you want to make sure that you make some kind of precautions or have fencing up so that the deer don't get to them. They won't kill the plant completely. They just like to eat the daisies, the flowers. Look at that. So I've got these divided, and I'm just rinsing them off so I can take a look and see how many I have here. So I've got one, I possibly may able to get, oh, I've got two there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'm going to plant this big one all together. I could probably get 3 more out of it, but I think I'm going to plant it together. And then might be able to use that. It's got a little bit of root on it. This one too, those are maybes. So I'll probably plant those and see how they do. But yeah, so taking what you already have, and especially if you go from seed and start them in these big containers, where they can get a good root system established, it's a really good idea that when you need the color, don't want to spend the money going out and buying new plants, take what you already have that you would like more of in your garden and just separate it, multiply them, and then you can plant them around in the areas of the garden where you feel like you need more support from your characters. You just want to loosen the soil. And I'm going to grab one of the plants, probably the biggest one, and put it in here. And when you're planting, you don't want to plant the plant too low because then it tends to get waterlogged. And with the Shasta daisies, they really don't like to be waterlogged. They get root rot. So you want to make sure that you plant them more higher than lower. And this is some really healthy soil over here in this area. So I think it's really going to thrive and do well. And then I'm just going to water it in. Voila, new plant in the garden. Woohoo! Thank you for watching Garden Discovery today. I've went ahead and divided these, and I'm hoping that it gives you some inspiration in your garden for multiplying what you already have and making things useful in your garden. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments or suggestions or ideas that you do in your garden to make things stretch, go ahead and put a comment in the section below. I'd love to hear everybody's ideas too. So if you want to do that, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.